Welcome to a shorter vinyasa sequence that will focus on internal hip mobility. Internal hip mobility is one of my favorite things to focus on an individual level. It's the area of my body, it's the range of motion that is the most inaccessible. It has the most amount of challenge, the most amount of resistance for me experientially. And for that reason, I also have the most amount of depth and growth to be found there. So it's something that I spend a lot of time on. But on a larger level, I really love incorporating internal hip mobility into a yoga practice because yoga in the traditional sense and the asana tradition, it doesn't necessarily focus on internal hip mobility quite as much as external hip mobility. And the hips, they're pretty complex joint, and we may have a significant range of motion in one direction, but a very limited range of motion in another. And ideally, we want to move to a place of balance within the body, within the breath, within the mind. So when we are very mobile in one range of motion and not as mobile in another, it can create some imbalances, and that's what I experience. That's what a lot of yoga practitioners do. You can sit in pigeon all day long, external hip rotation, but if you tell someone to do a middle split, that might be the most challenging thing that there ever was. So our goal really is balance. The last thing I will say is something that I've been really fascinated with as a human being. I've been really observing all the ways that I limit myself because of the things that I'm supposed to do. An example of which is this class. So this class, it's going to involve a lot of the entire flow really. None of the flow, none of the postures within it have a name. Nothing is traditional in any sense of the word. So I've been teaching yoga for a long time, but I'm recognizing that I still have this concept of what I should do. You know, the postures that I should teach. I just have these concepts of how I'm supposed to behave. And why? I don't know who put that box on me, but it's me. Actually, I do. So this practice, what I'm going to ask of you guys is to really take ownership of your even rhythm of breath in and out the nose, because the postures won't necessarily link up perfectly with the breath. So I empower you to move at the pace that you need to. And on a larger level, just notice if you resonate with what I just shared. It might not be through teaching yoga, but I'm quite sure that in some part of your human experience, whether it be work, whether it be in relationship, as a mom, as a father, as a lover, whatever it may be, we have these conceptions of how we're supposed to behave and how we're not, shoulds and shouldn'ts. And it creates a lot of internal resistance. And just for now, what would have happened if you showed up radically as you are? What space would that create? So that's the bigger question of the class. And with that, let's jump right in. Make your way into any variation of child's pose that you like. Knees can be wide, knees could touch. Wherever you are, allow the chest to fall heavy down towards the floor, down towards the thighs. Let the body be heavy. See if you can settle into stillness right away. And initially, without trying to change the breath, without trying to deepen it, can you simply notice its natural rhythm? So if it's short and jagged, let it be that. If the breath is full, let it be that. If you notice you're breathing more fully through one nostril, just notice that. So as we move throughout the class, it's more valuable. To see how much you can notice along the way. Big inhale all together through the nose. Exhale, big sigh, let it out the mouth. And then seal the lips and find an even rhythm of breath in and out the nose. And the relationship to this even rhythm of breath in and out the nose, it's going to be the relationship that we feed throughout the entire class. It's the connection to ourselves. Moving from the inside out, moving only when inspired by the breath. You'll make your way to a tabletop position, shifting the shoulders above the wrists, hips above the knees. For now, keep your toes curled under. Press into the ground so you spread the shoulder blades wide, navel up and in. We're in a neutral tabletop position. Inhale, lower the belly towards the ground. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, tilt the tailbone high. Exhale, pressing through the palms, through the shoulders, chin to chest, round the back body. 3 more cycles of breath, just like that. Next inhalation, you'll make your way back to a neutral spine. Make sure your toes are tucked under. We're going to move through some child's pose to tabletop rolls. So slowly begin to shift your hips back, press the ground far away from you, hug the navel up and in. As you inhale, begin to ripple forward so you can keep that dome in the upper body, chin to chest, navel towards the spine until the shoulders come above the wrists. And then begin to lower the belly down towards the ground, tilt the tailbone high as you begin to shift the hips back towards the heels. So we keep moving just like that. As you inhale, you ripple forward with a rounded back body. And as you exhale, feel free to bend the arms, make it your own as you tilt the tail high, shift the hips back. Keep moving just like that. And really, there isn't a right or wrong. It's just a matter of how much we can notice. All right, and this can be tricky for the brain, but next time the hips are back towards the heels, we'll reverse the motion. I bend my arms, shift my body weight forward, almost like cobra. And then begin to press into the palms, round the back body, and bring the hips back towards the heels. Begin to tilt the tail, bend the elbows, slither forward. When the shoulders are above the wrists, I round the back body. Okay. And then move at your own pace for a few more rounds of breath. Just notice what you feel. Next time you make your way into plank, or rather, into a tabletop, you can pause there. Walk the palms 1 hand distance forward, curl your toes behind you. Glide the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Feel free to get out any wiggles, any little adjustments that you need to do. See if you can settle into stillness, however, as quickly as you can. We'll get moving right away. Big inhale all together through the nose. Exhale, big sigh, let it out the mouth. Slowly walk your feet forward towards your hands, wide-legged forward folds. Interlace your hands to the low back, and then you can begin to extend your fingertips upwards towards the ceiling, or maybe even downwards towards the floor. Bend the legs a lot, so much so that the chest rests heavy on the thighs. As always, feel free to wiggle, make it your own. Just let breath and gravity do most of the work for you. Soften the fingertips down towards the floor. Inhale, lift the chest, halfway lift. Keep that deep bend in the legs so the spine stays long. Exhale, chest to thighs, fold forward. Keeping that soft bend in the legs, slowly, vertebra by vertebra, rise all the way up to a standing position. And then once you're at the top, feel free to glide the shoulders back and down the spine. We'll move through a few sun A's. Close the eyes. Inhale, lift the heart, shoulder blades squeeze tight. Exhale, navel towards the back body, downward facing dog. A few rounds of breath. See how slow, how fluid the breath can be. As if the breath is literally moving the body. It is, it does, it can. Full inhale. Full exhale. Inhale, walk, step, or hop your feet forward all the way between the hands. Find length in the spine. Exhale, chest to thighs, fold forward. Inhale, reach the arms all the way overhead. Exhale, arms by the sides. Big breath in. Big breath out. Last round. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Soften the shoulders. Exhale, hinge from the hips. Fold forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step the feet back to a plank. Big inhale, engage the glutes. Exhale, lower down your way. Inhale, lift the hearts. Exhale, glide the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Just a few rounds of breath. Next inhalation, walk, step, or hop your feet forward to the top of the space, lengthen the spine. Exhale, chest to thighs, fold forward. Inhale, root to rise, reach the arms all the way overhead. Exhale, arms by the sides. Feel free to open the feet a little bit wider. You can close the eyes or find a soft and steady point of focus with the eyes. Just notice what may have shifted. Moving towards our main flow. Grounding through all four corners of your left foot. Standing staff pose. Begin to hover the right leg. You can keep the hands at the heart center. You can extend the arms overhead. You can choose to extend the right leg long. That's what I'm going to do throughout the flow. If you're straightening your right leg, engage it as much as you possibly could. Take in one more big inhale wherever you are. And as you exhale, we'll come into a shape called shin box. You bring your right shin behind you. You'll bring it down on an angle, about a 45-degree angle, and then you shift your hips back behind your right heel. Okay. Keep the spine long. All right, here's where it gets really fun. So now you extend your left leg long. Try to keep the shoulders above the hips as best as you can as you sweep the left leg out to the side, and then bend it, bringing your left leg behind you, almost like you're in this strange deer shape. Find your breath. Feel what you feel. From here, we're going to do one of two things. You can either windshield wiper your legs to the opposite side. Feel free to use your hands or not. Or you can make your way through Malasana, again, using your hands or not, before lowering the legs to the back of the mat. Good. All right, so we'll all meet there towards the back of the mat. Again, keeping the shoulders above the hips. See if you can now lift your right leg. You might feel a cramping in the inner line of the hip. That's okay. Breathe into it. And then we'll swing our right leg around, planting our right foot down to the ground. You ready? Pressing through all four corners of the right foot. Inhale, rise up to standing staff pose on the opposite side. So you can keep your left leg bent. You could choose to extend it long. All right, and then from here, we're going to reverse that, the entire sequence. So now, we'll bring our left shin down to the ground at a 45-degree angle. Shift the hips back so that they are behind that then from here, you can either just windshield wiper the legs to the front of the space, or you can move through Malasana as you do it, using the hands or not. Now we're all at the top of the mat. All right, now again, try to find a long spine. See if you can lift your left foot off of the ground. Plant the left foot down. Slowly step into the left foot. Standing staff pose, right leg can be bent or extended long. One more big inhale. Exhale, stand tall, top of the mat. Woo! All right, guys, so it's a little funky. We're gonna do it on the opposite side. Ground through all four corners of the right foot. And then extend the left leg long, finding your variation with the arms. If the left leg is extended, you're keeping it super strong and active. And then bend the left leg. We'll bring our shin down to a 45-degree angle, that shin box shape, sinking the hips down to the ground. All right, point your right foot, slowly, keeping the shoulders stacked above the hips. Begin to sweep the right leg around, moving towards the back of the mat. All right, and then you can windshield wiper the legs, or make your way through Malasana, and then towards the back of the mat. Our right shin is forward. Lift the left leg, and then step the left foot forward. Grounding through all four corners of this left foot. Inhale, slowly rise up, standing staff pose, right leg extended. And we reverse it. You ready? Big inhale. Exhale, slowly shin box. Soften the right shin down towards the ground. Shift the hips back. Straighten the left leg. Begin to sweep the left leg around. Deer pose. Transition forward through Malasana or windshield wiper the legs. Left shin is now forward towards the top of the space. Lift your right leg. Sweep it around. Plant your right foot. Rise all the way up. Standing staff pose. Left leg extended long. Relax the arms by the sides. Top of the mat. Release the left leg. Whew. Give it a shake. Give it a wiggle. All right. We're going to move through that flow a little bit quicker. I will talk you through it as best as I can, but trust the body. It knows, and it might take a little bit for these movements to become familiar, for it to feel flowy. But I invite you to stay with the breath, and perhaps more importantly, if all these movements are quite strange, if you are finding yourself being like, what is going on? Just notice that. The way that we respond to the unfamiliar, the uncomfortable, the challenging on the mats, it's giving us this little window of opportunity to see how we probably respond off of the mat too. So, as a human, I would prefer to be somebody that laughs, that breathes in the face of challenge. So that's what I practice as I move. Find whatever intention resonates for you, and we play with the breath. Let's do it, guys. Ground through all four corners of the left foot. Inhale, standing staff, right leg forward. Exhale, shin box, right shin back. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, sweep it around. Inhale, through Malasana. Exhale to the back of the mat. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, sweep it forward. Inhale, standing staff. Lift the left foot. Exhale here. One more inhale. Exhale, shin box, left shin back. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, sweep it around. into Malasana, frog squat. Alright guys, so I hope that you enjoyed that. Sinking into the hips, lifting through the center of the heart, elbows pressing into the knees, knees into the elbows. Just a few moments of stillness. What is a more familiar shape than what we just worked through? Alright guys, so from here we're making our way to a wide-legged forward fold. You're welcome to just lift the hips, walk the feet a little bit wider, or if you want, you can move through a handstand or an attempt at a handstand, opening the legs a little bit wider as you go. I'll show you what it looks like. It is possible that my mat was slit, but we're going to give it a go anyway. You plant your palms, begin to press, and then once you lift the hips high, you can open up the legs wide. And again, you might not find the handstand, but eventually you'll open the legs wide. And then find a forward fold. So perhaps you don't have a float in a handstand, and that's amazing, that's perfect. Again, we're falling in love with the process. So perhaps, as you take a few moments to play here, you might just begin to bring some weight into the hands, step the feet out wide. You might also take a baby hop, just opening the legs a little bit wider. Wherever you are, we'll meet in a forward fold. Give yourself permission to play. And once you're in a forward fold, interlace your hands once again, but take your non-habitual grip. So the opposite pinky, opposite thumb on top. See if you can keep grounding through the outer edges of the feet, allowing the hips to be relatively in line with the ankles, letting breath and gravity really do most of the work for you here. And then slowly soften your fingertips down to the ground. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, back towards Malasana. So you can heel toe your feet back to hip distance apart. We'll move through one more shoulder opener from here. It's called chicken wing pose. You will bring your right hand behind your back, almost like you're moving towards broken wing and yin, more towards the center of the mat, or your back rather. And then you hook your right elbow to the inside of the right leg. So that's your chicken wing. It should expose the blade of the shoulder. It might be super intense. Wherever you are, breathe into it. And then slowly, feel free to use your left hand to carefully unhook that right arm. And then just give it a moment to relax. It might be quite sensational in its release. And then you can bring your left palm behind you towards the center of the back. You hook that left elbow into the inside of the left leg. And then keep trying to lift through the chest. And you can really play with it. You can apply a little bit of pressure of the knee into the elbow, elbow to the knee. Just feel what you feel, staying with that even rhythm of breath in and out the nose. And then slowly release. And then we'll just gently sit our hips back, gently make our way onto the back. Take a moment to simply pause, a mini Shavasana, or you can come into constructive rest. Just close the eyes, take up space, and see what may have shifted in this very short time. I always find it empowering becomes a little bit easier to respect whatever now happens to be. We'll come into one round of bridge pose. Bend the legs if they're already there. If they're not already there, rather. Feet are hip distance apart, knees hip distance apart. Relax your arms by your sides. Your middle fingers should just barely graze the backs of the heels. And then press the low back into the ground. Press into the soles of the feet. Begin to lift the hips high, bridge pose. You can lift through the chest, walk the shoulders a little bit closer together underneath you if you like. And this will be a slightly longer hold, at least 5 or so rounds of breath. Listen to your body. You can exit the shape earlier than my words. You might also be in wheel pose. Get what you need out of your practice. And whenever you feel called to, you can meet me in a reclined butterfly pose, bringing the soles of the feet to touch, knees out wide. Bring your right hand to the heart, bring your left hand to the heart, right hand to the low belly, close the eyes, and just notice how you breathe within this moment. And then when you're ready, you can bring your legs back in towards one another. Extend your left leg long, hug the right knee in towards the chest. For a moment, really hug that right leg in tight. Try to eliminate the space between the upper right thigh and the low belly. You might feel a pinching sensation in the front of the right hip. And then open the right arm wide, right arm out to a T. Shift your hips 1 or 2 inches to the right. And then lower the right knee to the left. You can choose to look over either shoulder. Just a few rounds of breath. Next inhale, bring the right leg back in towards the midline. Give it a quick squeeze. And then extend the right leg long. Then gently hug the left knee in towards the chest. And once again, notice how close you can hug the left knee in towards the low abdomen, or the upper thigh into low abdomen, I should say. Feel what you feel. Open the left arm wide. Move your hips 1 or 2 inches to the left. Right hand can guide the left knee across the body. A spinal twist. Making it your own. Next inhale, gently guide the left knee back in towards your center. Give it a quick squeeze. And then extend the left leg long as well. And now we'll lift our arms, lift our legs up towards the ceiling. Tantrum asana. We're going to have a conscious tantrum. Begin to shake the wrists, shake the ankles, but the limbs are passive. So this begins to be a full body shaking experience. I'm noticing my voice is starting to shake. I can feel the skin on my thighs shake. So the trick is to release control. If you do feel like you're controlling the motion, take a moment and imagine a child having a tantrum. You give everything you got, a last few seconds of pure shaking. Releasing what is stagnant. control it. You're faintly aware of how the belly rises and falls. But beyond that,